Thanks for joining us. My name is Ibrahim Sani. We're going to be looking at the business of gift and, of course, the business of flower giving. This is, of course, none other than BloomThis. If you're very familiar with this company, it basically started off as a brick and mortar kind of business, but right now it has moved towards e-commerce, and we want to see how the retail industry is now transitioning from the brick and mortar business towards the e-commerce business in the landscape of gift giving. Joining us in the studio is Gideon Lim, the co-founder and CEO of BloomThis. Thanks for taking the time to come over to the studio, have a chat with us, because this is extremely crucial. I want to learn more about this kind of environment where we are looking at the traditional retail business, B2C kind of situation, but it has moved or gotten traction into what I call this an e-commerce business. So before we jump into all that, maybe you can give us a little bit of background in terms of the history of BloomThis and what got you here.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Ibrahim, for having me here. I'm really thrilled to share, our story. So you're right. Actually, BloomThis essentially started predominantly an e-commerce brand. We are in the space of gifting. So we started with flowers, handcrafted designer flowers, and we have actually expanded our categories beyond flowers. And right now we have things like gourmet food, artisanal gifts, plants, desserts, and whatnot, everything that engulfs the whole gifting experience. So, so really we want to make the whole gifting a joy for both, the sender and also the recipient. So you ask about what got us here, and the reason why I'm actually in this industry and doing the flower industry in this gifting space is because I started off helping my mother, because my mother was a florist, and I literally grew up in a flower shop, helping her around in the flower shop. Growing up, I've always wondered, I see a lot of potential in the industry, but I've seen a lot of gaps as well, especially operational gap. You mentioned brick and mortar, very physical, very laborious. And I see that there's so much potential in improving that customer experience, giving people better products and services. However, always constrained and refined in these confined operational challenges. So as I grow older, I've always looked into how I can first help that business to grow. And I wanted to digitize the business, hence the whole movement, or rather decision to go and do it in the e-commerce manner.
Okay, I really want to look into this transition, because this interview, if anything, I want to explore the transition between before and after, right? Growing up around PJ Old Town and PJ New Town, to be frank, I see a lot of these advertising of BloomThis on the signboards. I remember those days very well. And of course, those days are long gone, I suppose, because people are no longer looking at billboards per se. And of course, the transitioning towards digitizing a business is also critical, because your consumers no longer want to go and visit a brick and mortar industry or a brick and mortar shop. Where do you see the importance of e-commerce when it comes to digitizing the business, particularly when we see numbers of e-commerce shoppers have dropped after COVID? So 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and of course 2023 moving onwards, where is the transitioning looking at right now?
Right. So yeah, actually, so a bit of a history actually. So when I talk about my mother and the brick and mortar shop, we started in Penang. So I'm from Penang, and that shop is actually in Penang. And you're right, actually, in that era, there were a lot of brick and mortar florist gifting shops around, and some actually do advertise on billboards, as you see.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, the uniqueness about our industry is that the person that is actually receiving the gift and the sender of the gift is actually two different persons.
Yeah.
Right? So
I mean, very rare you buy. Maybe there are people who buy that for themselves. I don't know.
For different purposes, yes. Now,
Right.
So we do have products that people buy for their home. For celebrations. If let's say they have guests coming over, or any kind of like Christmas Raya and things that they want to beautify their home, yeah, they do that. But by and large, actually, it's in a way it's a gifting service, right? So the sender and the recipient are two different people. Hence, the element of convenience plays a huge role in ensuring that the gifting process is, seamless and trustworthy. The products are of good quality, and at the end of the day, you give a gift because you want to send a message. It can be an emotional message, a message that you want to say thank you, or a message of love. And that the whole entire experience, from product to logistics, has to be perfect and right. Hence, there's so much opportunity to actually go and fix all these gaps. The decision of digitizing the business becomes it makes sense to do it. So e-commerce gives us a way, of course, first to reach out to a larger pool of audience, but it also allows our consumers the convenience of making the purchases now with the mobile and so easy payment solutions and whatnot, allow people to just buy on demand. And so now our challenge is, how do we ensure that quality, that customer service, even though people are buying it on the go or last minute, on demand, same day, operationally it's actually very challenging. Hence, the first part of what we did was actually to digitize from the brand and go into the e-commerce capabilities. But it doesn't stop there, because even though we can reach out to customers and give people that convenience to buy online, we still have to ensure that the customer experience is holistic, from the fulfillment aspect, the logistic aspect, the production and quality of the flowers and products. And we're dealing with perishable, time sensitive, and people special moment, right? So we really want to make sure that all these other back end is also, we think about it, and how do we optimize the whole process to give the holistic experience to the customer.
Okay, I got three big areas to explore with you moving forward. The first big area is, of course, the element of cost of living right now rising, gifting, while momentous and memorable. Sometimes people do put this as a non-priority. You need to buy food, you need to buy chicken, that kind of stuff. Where do you see the prioritization of the gifting industry in the element of where we are right now, where cost of living is rising, constriction of what we call this disposable income is actually shrinking? Is this a good industry to be in right now?
So if you think about it, what the elements that you just described affects everyone. Rising cost of living, inflation, even interest rates are rising. I think our ringgit is also getting weaker. It is across the board, affects all industry, I would say, by and large, right? Then we look at sectors, and where we are at, we are somewhat a discretionary spending kind of a sector. And so I would definitely say that the movements of the market can impact, the outlook of the industry and the business. So definitely it has an impact on where the industry that we are at. But having said that, we've been through, so BloomThis has been 8 years. We've been through many different kind of challenges, and one of the toughest challenges we have actually crossed is the lockdown, the pandemic, MCO and whatnot. What we learn is that at the end of the day, first and foremost, what remains is that people still wants to connect with people. That human connection is important, especially in an increasingly digitized world today with so many
even when discretionary spending is actually lower.
Even if discretionary spending by and large is lower, but to a segment that it is still quite sustained, I would say, quite maintained. But this, to some extent, it's also what people are looking for. So, say for example, let's say my wife has a birthday or an anniversary. I have to give her a gift, right? I can't really not do something about it, and we play a role in that kind of scenarios. And so that's why customer experience, reliability, assurance of that service is important, so that we can be the go-to brand when these needs are, when people need this kind of services. Yeah. So, and I think that the difference is that there is value in convenience, I would say. So hence, because we are e-commerce and we make it really simple, seamless for people to send a gift, that convenience is actually what people would value as well. So even though, I would say by and large all industries are affected by these things, it will not be something that I would think we are so drastically affected that our whole industry will swing from left to right, because of these market forces. Okay.
The second idea that I want to explore is on recency, recurrency, and of course the subscription business that you have right now. How important do you feel that this subscription business is in terms of getting recency and recurrence purchases to come in? Is this a pivotal, revenue strategy for you?
I would say it's an add-on incremental. By and large, our business is really about gifting and the moments when people need that service, right? So we optimize our business around that purpose. Of course, there are a lot of different use cases on why people want the products that we have. For example, let's say flowers. We do have people who want to beautify their home regularly, right? We do have people who also maybe we see customers who are actually away from their family and they want to continue that connection with their family members, and they send a subscription for a period of time because they are traveling and probably they're working overseas. We see that kind of use case as well. So I wouldn't say that our core business is around subscription. However, subscription offers that additional service that people can continue to like sort of enjoy our products and services, especially just simply having flowers and beautiful things, plants and whatnot at home. So we started actually very interestingly with that back in 2015. That is our core business model. But after listening to our customers and knowing that actually our customers want the on-demand and wants the gifting aspect of our service, we kind of like very quickly solidified that part of the business. That was very early days back in 2015. So we still kept the subscription business ongoing, and then we started building a lot more on our on-demand capabilities. So I would say that it is something that we will still want to keep, but I wouldn't say that it is at its core the main use case why people actually use BloomThis.
And of course, the third idea right now is on the opening of your second retail store. You're trying to expand your customer base. You're trying to ensure that you can elevate your brand experience for the community and for your customers. How does this play into the digitization aspect, considering that you've trained your customers to order in such a way, you've trained your customers on the concept of subscription and many more. So you left the brick and mortar, you are fully immersed in this digital experience, and now you're going back, I suppose, into the second retail store. How does that play into the strategy?
Yeah, so so a few things that came to mind was that during the pandemic, we learned that everything shifts into digital. We have always been digital first. So we started a business e-commerce and started building technology around our operation, and we've always been invested in digitizing our business. So when the pandemic came, we could navigate around that situation. But what made us realize is that it is also important to build foundations around the business. Any black swan event can happen again, and then it could be something that is going to be very unfriendly to digitization of e-commerce. I wouldn't know, but at this juncture, it looks highly unlikely. But we think that giving people an holistic, we call it maybe omni-channel experience, is actually the future. It's actually is important for any brand to give people that seamless experience. So we think that people shop online for convenience, and people shop in the store for experience. So we have already able to give customers that good experience shopping online. Now we're thinking, can we then extend that physical aspect? And that gives us a different dimension of engaging our customers, you see, because we get to meet them, meet and greet them. We just launched, yes, the retail at our HQ just a few weeks ago. We met a lot of our Bloomies, we call them, our customers. And this is for the first time. Some of them have been our customers for like years, and we get to see them physically. We get to talk to them, get to understand, why do you use our service, what do you like about it? And it's very amazing to hear their stories as to, and they share it with their friends around the world, actually. And it was really encouraging for us. It is also a space that we can run things like workshops, flower jamming, engagement activities for all walks of life, from corporates to families to children and whatnot. And we intend to do more of that. People get to experience our brand in a more high-touch manner. So that's the thinking behind why don't we just stick on digital and just stay e-commerce. But as a brand, we think that we really want to engulf a broader spectrum. Yeah. So I want to say that BloomThis, actually, our mission is really about creating moments of happiness. And really, we are in people's moments. Moments are what we are, what is in our lives. And BloomThis wants to be part of that moment, you see. We see that we are able to do that, but not just digitally, physically as well.
The next following questions are more of trying to settle my own curiosity. How much can you share with us in terms of where you get your supplies from? Is it locally sourced? Is it international? Do you have your own, I guess, upstream kind of farm or plantation, or I don't know what you call it, orchard, to grow your own stock? How do you ensure that sustainability of supply is there, and how do you keep costs low?
Wow, that is a very good question and a challenge that we face every day to keep costs low. But yes, you're right. So when it comes to supply, we have multiple source of supplies when it comes to flowers. Mainly, we work with the farms in Cameron Highlands, because locally in Malaysia we are blessed with a good network of supply of raw flowers. So we work with people who are in the industry, up the supply chain, and we definitely work closely with them, especially even during lockdowns and things like that. It was really tough for the farmers. They were pivoting into vegetables and things like that. So we try to work with the farms locally, and in that sense also start to build better connection with them, better friendships and better connection. But having said that, at BloomThis, we always think about how do we give customers great experience through really innovative products, and we do that by also importing some of these flowers. Some of these flowers are also seasonal. Like now we are running, we have a collection called the Peony Collection. Peonies are only seasonal. Seasons is about to end already, so we have to import these peonies from Holland. So import flowers from like China, India, New Zealand, Holland. So we're always in the lookout for also interesting flowers and products that we can come and incorporate and create designs around it. So it is, I would say, over the years building that network with farms and suppliers around the world. But keeping costs low is really the challenge, because as you know, if we are importing them, we are of course affected by the currency fluctuations, which is happening now in Malaysia. Other than that, it's also the rising cost of raw material is also going up. So yeah, I must say that to an extent, the business also experienced a squeeze in our margins. Hence, what we really always focus on is efficiency, processes, right? And hence the reason why we invest so much in technology in the start is because we want to make sure that our production, our whole process, basically fulfillment process, is efficient, and we optimize output. We believe that productivity is really the key to counter this inflation, this rising cost problem, is to actually increase productivity. And to do that, we really need these three different elements, which we invest in: people, process, and platform. Platform, by platform I mean technology. So hence, there is no other, there's no shortcut around it. I think that improving efficiency, increasing productivity, and we do it through processes and technology, as in how, whether we build it or we buy it,
All right. Do you feel that this is the kind of business that sells itself? Because there's always a graduation, there's always a breakup, there's always an anniversary. There's always something, there's always a birthday,
Yep.
So, and if you're not supplying to these kind of moments, your competitors will come in. Do you feel that this industry is one that sells itself?
You clearly pointed out what I mentioned about moments, right? Like you describe a few moments in a person's life, and there's so many different moments, and you're right that these moments won't go away. It will always be there. So the challenge for a brand like BloomThis is to, how do we be relevant in these kind of moments? How do we continue to give customers great products and services and experience? How do we continue to be innovative in these products? So yes, while you are right to say that there will always be a birthday, an anniversary, or graduation,
or breakups.
Or breakups, right? Yeah.
Never know.
Yeah. I mean, but having said that, it's very important for us to continue to be relevant for those moments. And I think how do we continue to stay relevant is to continue to have the right service, product, the confidence, to build that confidence of the brand when people are in that moment, and the moment they need a service like ours, they can rely on us, and we are there for them just by a few clicks on their mobile, and we'll get it sorted. And I think that is what we strive to do and keep pushing boundaries to achieve better and better. Hence also why the retail experience. Can we give customers that extended experience even through a physical, a physical space? Yeah.
These are just curiosity. I don't know how much you can share. Do you see a lot more corporate kind of customers, or retail is still the main primary customer right now? And where is the trend moving? Do you feel that corporates are going to be the bigger buyers moving forward?
So I think, again, corporate has its use case, and the moments for the corporates to need gifts and this kind of services also will always be there. Today, BloomThis is very much a retail brand. We are a consumer brand. So that's by and large where we focus on all these years. But that's not to say that we will not look into the others.
Of course,
sectors.
No. Do you collect data in terms of the purpose and reason why people buy? And if so, how much can you share with us in terms of?
So data is a big thing in our business, right? So we do collect a lot of data in a lot of aspects, from operation to even the whole digital marketing side of things. We still see that by and large what you mentioned is true, right? People buy a lot for their personal moments in life, right? Be it birthday, either husband and wife's birthday, or their children's birthday, or their friend. They want to throw a birthday celebration for their children's friends. All these moments, anniversary, or saying sorry, or even hospitalization, right? I think, and all these moments are by and large the main reasons. If you say B2B and corporates, they can be very different reasons. It can be events. It can be marketing related initiatives.
Yeah, product launches.
Right? And it can also be like employee engagement and appreciation and things like that. So we do have a segment of our business that actually cater to some of these needs as well. And we work with some of these corporates that buy on a regular basis. For this kind of purposes.
But leaving corporate aside, just on the retail, what is the top three in order, I suppose, in terms of the purpose of people buy?
Yeah, birthday is the main reason, I must say. Birthday.
Like main reason, like what, 70% reason or 40% reason?
You can say at least 40 to 50% of the reason can be around birthdays, I would say.
Okay.
It's very common. Everybody has a birthday. Every day there's a birthday.
Yeah. Second and third reason?
I think anything around, I would think the expression of appreciation and love. It can be anything around there, right?
Yeah,
it can just simple of like, can be an anniversary to just because, right?
Yeah.
Like when a guy is courting a girl, that girl will get like 5 bouquets a month kind of thing. Right?
Okay, final question, and I'm going to press you for an answer no matter what. You have to give me a straightforward answer. Is gifting industry marketed at men? Because would men constitute the most of your purchases?
It's a very interesting question, right? I think you would think that would be the case.
Yeah.
But
a woman never buys me flowers. You have to put it that way. Okay.
You would think that would be the case, but the truth is not. It's actually very balanced. Men and women buy flowers alike from what we see. Just that the use case can be very different. As you mentioned, men usually buy flowers when they have to, when they get into trouble, right?
Yeah.
Or because it's a moment.
Honestly,
that they have to.
that's when I buy flowers, lah.
Yeah.
I'm the archetype customer of yours.
Yeah, that's right, right? Like during Valentine's Day, I suddenly get a lot of bros. Everybody's broing me and say, "Hey, bro, I need flowers, I need flowers."
But women? What about women?
It's different because I think if you think about it, what we notice is that women actually buy flowers just because they can buy it for a lot of reasons, just to appreciate their friends, just to appreciate their colleagues, their parents or their siblings. It can be anything. It can be for their children. It's very broad and general, and we also see that there is a repeated behavior. Yes, the repeated behavior and purchase. Because like I said, there are so many moments in people's life, and I think, yeah, we see that women actually appreciate these kind of things. I'm not saying men don't, men do as well.
We're very reductive in terms of our comments.
It's not right. It's not right to actually put it that way.
But broad strokes is supposed
correct.
to be fantastic. That was Gideon Lim, the co-founder and CEO of BloomThis. If you want to learn more, just head off to their website and find out more about that. And of course, the retail business has always been a focus for this show. So do find out more about it on astroawani.com. My name is Ibrahim Sani. Catch you in the next one.